and walk. And Krishna goes on to explain. First, he explains the symptoms in verse 55, that when a man gives up all varieties of sense desire, which arise from mental concoction. So the sense desires are coming from the mind, and mind is concocting the ideas. It's not real. There is no reality in it. There is a plan, right? That tomorrow I will be happy if I do this thing. Then I'll be happy. But if there is no Krishna in the middle, then that happiness will go on taking a rain check. It will be postponed forever. We'll never grab it like a mirage. But a person who is able to bring everything back in the center, gather themselves, and not, and is able to give up all varieties of sense desires, which arise from mental concoction. And when the mind finds satisfaction alone in the self alone, then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. Very difficult to find such a person, but if somebody finds such a person, don't leave them. Like Srila Prabhupada, don't leave Srila Prabhupada's preachings. Don't leave giving up reading his books. Just don't, under any situation. And in verse 56 and 57, he talks about the talk. How does he talk? How does speech? What does the speech consist of? So the person will not be disturbed by threefold miseries, and we discussed what are the threefold miseries. Very quickly, tell me, you can raise your hand, what are the threefold miseries that Krishna is referring to here? What are the threefold miseries?
Attachment, fear, and anger.
Okay, thank you.
Adhyatmic, Adi Baudik, and Adi Daivik.
Inner feelings, marginal and external.
Oh.
So thank you. Nectar of instruction. Okay, that's the energy. Three types of energies of Krishna. Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, and Radha Shakti. Shakti, energy. And Vitaraga, Bhaya, Krodha are the kinds of desires. The miseries are Adhyatmic, Adibhautik, and Adidevik. So the miseries which are arising from one's own body and mind is Adibhautik. Adhyatmic. And the miseries which are arising from other living entities is Adibhautik. And the miseries arising from natural calamities is Adhidevik. So Adhyatmic is one's body and mind. One suffers because of that. We see that every day at work. People have very able body. They're born in such a rich country, but the mind is disturbed. Can't function. They can't do anything. They can't do anything good for themselves. Forget about doing anything good for anyone else, because the mind is disturbed. So rich people, and my hospital, very, very prestigious physician, very, very, it's like, he's like, like the posts are like that. His daughter was admitted under our service a few months ago because she tried to commit suicide. He's a millionaire. We see all these cases and it makes me feel like, thank God I have Krishna consciousness to rely on. And I wish I can give it to them. I don't know how. Anyway, so the speech who is not elated when there is happiness, who is free from attachment, fear, anger, is a sage of steady mind. Our speech is influenced by what's going on inside the mind, what thoughts we are harboring, right? So the speech will be very, very pleasing. The austerity of the speech. What are the threefold austerities of the speech that Krishna talks about in 17th chapter Bhagavad Gita? Yes, who finished understand Gita once again? What are the threefold things, austerities of the speech? Out of the course question. Who was there? Radhika Mataji was there, or Sita Mataji, you were there? The austerities of the speech. So
I can't seem to recollect. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So austerities of the speech are speech should be truthful, should be pleasing, and should be spiritually beneficial. So if someone can talk like this, truthful, we have to tell the truth, but we cannot throw the truth on someone's face. It has to be told in a particular way so that it is pleasing and it is spiritually uplifting. These are the three components of speech, according to 17th chapter, where Krishna says, anyone who is speaking like this is practicing the austerity of the speech. You know, he talks about austerity of the speech, austerity of the body, and austerity of the mind. So this is what austerity of the speech is. And who can have that kind of an austere speech? Who has a mind like this? Okay, other than that, other people will be like, coronavirus, my God, such a pain. When will this thing get over? Now, interestingly, I have some girls in the Sangha class. They are saying, why is coronavirus getting over? Because we were all homebound. The life was so simple and we could attend class. Now everything is getting opened up. Now again, we have to go back to the regular rush of the life. So actually, people are also saying like, why is it getting over? Not that we want world to suffer, but please understand that my intention is that for a person practicing Krishna consciousness, the so-called very inauspicious situation, which can be inauspicious for the whole world, the Krishna conscious person finds a way to serve Krishna in that also. This is now Minister Prabhu launched this program in the middle of the pandemic. Okay, so this also is the austerity of the speech. Very quickly, without attachment, does not rejoice when he obtains good, laments when he obtains evil, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Then austerity, and then how does it sit? We were reading this, we were in the middle of this. How does it sit is explained in verse 58 to 63. This is how a person sits, who is transcendently situated, who is able to withdraw his senses from sense objects. As tortoise draws his limbs within the shell, is to be understood as truly situated in knowledge. So we can check ourselves. Where are we? Am I able to withdraw my senses when my senses are coming in touch with the sense objects? Am I able to withdraw it or not? If not, then I have still not mastered Krishna consciousness. And how, what to do with a person who cannot withdraw his senses or her senses? What to do? Should we just discard them, or should we just self-flagellate ourselves, or what is the remedy? What should that person do?
Chant Mamantra, ma'am.
Chant Hare Krishna mantra, very nice. What else?
Develop a higher taste.
Okay, Dalpa Hare is okay. Thank you.
Offer prasad. Offer prasad.
Yes, yes, very nice. So the remedy is given in Nectar of Devotion. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada explains that if there is an accidental fall down, not voluntary, accidental fall down, then the remedy is just go on following the rules and regulations again. I think it was my Guru Maharaj who says, in Krishna consciousness, we are practicing like a small baby, like practices how to walk. Gets up, falls down, again gets up, falls down, again gets up, falls down, until can walk independently. So that's what happens with us. We get up, we fall down, then again get up. How we get up? Go again. Follow rules and regulations again. Chant again. Hope this fall down, get up cycle will stop one day. But that is a remedy. Okay, and the person, does anyone memorize this verse? Vishaya Vinivartante. Did anyone memorize this verse 59?
Yes, Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate.
Very nice. Anybody else? Sorry. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Vishaya vinavarte niharasya vadehinah rasavarnam rasopasya param drishtya nivartate. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay. I was listening to Prabhupada. Maybe I was reading a document yesterday or day before. Or today only, actually. Prabhupada was saying that Bhagavad Gita shlokas or Bhagavatam shlokas are so made that if you sing it 2 or 3 times, you automatically memorize, because the soul is connected to Krishna, right? So automatically the words of Krishna we memorize. It's automatic. So just try to sing and memorize these verses. Vimla Mataji, you wanted to sing? Vimla Mataji? Okay. So, but this is a very important verse. How does a person sit? One instruction is that person is able to withdraw the senses from sense objects, as a turtle withdraws its limbs within its shell. And the other thing, how does it sit, is that a person develops higher intelligence, higher taste. There is no fight whether I will drink a cup of coffee or I will drink plain water, because Krishna does not like that. There is no fight in that particular mind, which is enjoying and relishing the consciousness in Krishna's service. The secret is devotional service. Also, I was listening to Prabhupada, he was saying the secret is devotional service. Why impersonalists fall down? Because they don't get service. There is no engagement in Brahma Jyoti. There is no Brahmananda. Brahmananda, he was explaining the meaning of the word Brahmananda. Brahmananda. They don't derive happiness. That's why they come down. Okay, so Krishna is giving a warning that the senses are so strong and impetuous, O Arjuna, that they forcibly carry away the mind of a man, even of a man of discrimination who's endeavoring to control them. Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice lecture. He explains that just becoming pious is not enough for controlling the man. The so-called pious man is a good qualification to become a Krishna conscious, but that doesn't mean that he's a Goswami. Okay, still dependent on the mind, demands of the mind. So be careful where you surrender. Which kind of a guru are you choosing? Which kind of a crowd are you going to? Okay, so we can start with 61, and 62, 63 also is how does he walk? Who? Yes? Somebody is Vimla Mataji, you're unmuted. You wanted to sing?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mataji.
विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते.
Very nice, thank you. Okay, Mataji, while I have you, you want to read this verse also?
Yes.
Okay. You can see my screen?
Yes, I can see.
Okay.
May I go ahead?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
तानि सर्वाणि संयस्य युक्त आसीत तत् मत्परः वशो हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता. Translation. One who restrains his senses and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. Purport. That the highest conception of yoga perfection is Krishna consciousness is clearly explained in this verse, and unless one is Krishna conscious, it is not at all possible to control the senses. As cited above, the great sage Durvasa Muni picked a quarrel with Maharaja Ambarisha, and Durvasa Muni unnecessarily became angry out of pride and therefore could not check his senses. On the other hand, the king, although not as powerful as a yogi, as the sage, but a devotee of the Lord, silently tolerated all the sage's injustices and thereby emerged victorious. The king was able to control his senses because of the following qualification as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai Manaha Krishna Padravintyor Vachamsi Vaikunta Gundna Vamane Karauharer Mandira Marjanandisa Shrutim Chakra Chutda Satkathodyaide Mukunda Lingalaya darshane drishtva tadbhritya gatra sparshe arga sangamam grahamam cha tatpadda saroja saurabha srimat aulasya rasamam tad arpite patau harcha krishna parcha kshetra padam sa parpane stro hrishika padevandame kamam cha dasya na kau kimakam kamyat yatha tamsika jamsurarat. King Ambarisha fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, engaged his words in describing the abode of the Lord, his hands in cleansing the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the pastimes of the Lord, his eyes in seeing
The form of the Lord, his body in touching the
eyes
body.
in seeing the form of the Lord, his body in touching the body of the devotee, his nostrils in smelling of the flavor of the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaves was offered to him, his legs in traveling to the holy places where his temple is situated, his head in offering obeisance unto the Lord, and his desires in fulfilling the desires of the Lord, and all this qualification made him fit to become Matpara devotee of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, this Bhagavad
Bhagavatam.
Gita or Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam 9, chapter 9.4, 18 to 20.
Ninth canto, 4th chapter, verse 18 to 20.
Oh, 9th canto, 4th chapter, verse 18 to 20. The word Matpara is most significant in this connection. How one can become a Matpara is described in the life of Maharaja Ambarisha. Srila Baladeva Vidyabhasana, a great scholar and acharya in the line of Matpara, remarks, Matbhakti Prabhavena Sarvendriya Sojaya Purvika Svima Drishti Sulabhed Bhavaha. The senses can be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. Also, the example of fire is sometimes given. As the small flames within burn everything within the room, similarly, Lord Vishnu, situated in the heart of the yogi, burns up all kinds of impurities. The Yoga Sutra also prescribes meditation on Vishnu and not meditation on the void. The so-called yogis who meditate on something which is not the Vishnu form simply waste their time and in a vain search after some phantasmagoria. We have to be Krishna conscious, devoted to the personality of Godhead. This is the aim of the real yoga. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you very much. Tough verse, huh? Srila Prabhupada gave so many. So one who restrains his senses and fixes his consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. The test is how Prabhupada said, how do you find out who's a genuine guru? Once he joked, he said, look who's most addicted to Krishna. He said this, but this statement has a lot of meaning. See who's most addicted to Krishna. So fixes his consciousness, restrains the senses. So senses, he's not saying, Prabhupada is not saying or writing here that represses the senses. He's saying restrain. Restrain means regulation. And fixes the consciousness upon me is known as a man of steady intelligence. So that particular person is a person of steady intelligence. Others are not. Okay, Krishna consciousness is the highest conception of yoga. Highest. Why? Why is it Krishna consciousness the best yoga? Why? You can raise your hand, please. Please raise your hand. Why is Krishna consciousness the best yoga practice?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
We have come from there and we have to go back there. So being in the undivided devotion towards Krishna consciousness will lead to such a pious thing.
perfection of life. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Surekha Karode Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, Hare Krishna. According to this verse, I think yoga is, exercising the whole body in some way or the other. Parts according to this verse is where they have described that each and every part of the body is only thinking of the Lord. So you are purifying or making your body more and more ever and going towards the Lord is what I think.
What is the meaning of the word yoga?
Yoga is what we do. Yoga is for a perfect health, a good health. The same way the mind, here according to this verse, what I read is each and every part of the body is doing some devotional service and going to the Supreme Lord is what I think.
Thank you, Mataji. So who's going to tell me what is the meaning of the word yoga?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sumati.
1 second, Mataji. 1 second. What is the meaning of the word yoga? Tharneshwari Mataji.
Connection with God.
It is the connect to the Lord.
Tharneshwari Mataji, can you unmute yourself, please?
Connect to the Lord, Mataji.
Or
Yoga means-
does it mean exercises of the body for good health?
No, Mataji. That is
Yes.
that is different. That is Ashtanga yoga. This is
That is one of the wings
yeah.
of yoga. Yes. So yoga, word meaning of the word yoga is connecting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yo plus ga. Connecting oneself with Krishna is the meaning of the word yoga. Hatha yoga is one of the 8 types of yoga. In 6th chapter we will study Ashtanga yoga is 8 limbs of yoga. Out of which Hatha yoga is one of the things. It is recommended for people whose minds are very, very uncontrolled. So these bodily exercises help them to fix their mind because they can't control their mind otherwise. But Krishna consciousness directly brings to the platform of Krishna. Why? Because the mind is engaged in service of Krishna. Hatha yoga is, I'm not saying don't do it, but understand what is the purpose. The purpose is because the mind is so uncontrolled. Now the person has to do some bodily exercises, pull nose like this, breathe like this, so that the mind can get controlled. Okay, but Krishna consciousness is so perfect that directly, Srila Prabhupada, if you hear him every day, you will hear him saying, we don't have time. Kali Yuga people are not living for 1 lakh years. Okay, meditation and all these practices were for people who were living in Satya Yuga, 1 lakh years. So a couple of 1,000 years gone for practicing this thing, no time wasted. We don't have time. We have no time. Today, if a person is 70-year-old, they are so old man or old woman. But that time, 70-year-old was like a young person, very, very young, maybe a baby in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga. So we don't have time. We have no time. We have actually, this body can go anytime. 100 years is given, but who is making 200 years? So Surekha Mataji, I just want to say thank you for bringing up, but yoga does not mean health and exercise. Yoga means connecting with God.
Yeah, Mataji, I wanted to say here is that each and every part, like the hands, suppose we are offering flowers or the nostril you're smelling, like what we read now, according to that, you are going towards Lord, is what I meant. That is the connection that you're doing.
So I will clarify. Thank you so much. But that is the devotional. That is 9 ways of doing bhakti, and that is what is explained in Amrish Maharaj's life. But that doesn't mean that he's sitting and exercising. Okay,
No.
He's
Yeah.
engaging. Okay, so the Krishna consciousness is the highest conception of yoga because it brings one directly in touch with the ultimate purpose behind doing these things. Directly. You know, Prabhupada gives example, if somebody has to go on the top of a building, either they can take stairs or they can take an elevator. So intelligent person will take a stair. I'm sorry. will take an elevator. Why? Because it will save time. So Krishna consciousness is like taking that elevator to Krishna's place. We are very lucky. We don't understand how lucky we are, but when you come to Krishna consciousness, you associate with devotees, understand and appreciate the luck that we have. That first of all, we are in the golden Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu does not come in every Kali Yuga. Second, we have Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And just by catching the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, I am going to Krishna. I'm 100% sure. 100% sure. Why? Because Prabhupada is saying it. Why will Prabhupada lie? There's no reason for him to lie. So highest perfection. Well, the same result, Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a verse which explains the same result that was explained by practice of meditation in Satya Yuga. The same result that was explained by practice of fire sacrifices in Treta Yuga. The same result that was attained by practice of elaborate temple worship in Dwapar Yuga is attained. The same result is attained by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra in this age. A very, very intelligent person will take up to the process. But others, they won't want to rot here. What to do? Okay, there are 9 ways Prahlad Maharaj explains in 7th Canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam. So basically, there are 9 ways that we can develop our Krishna consciousness. Archanam by worshipping, Vandanam by singing the glories of Krishna, Dasyam by serving Krishna, Sakhyam by becoming friends with Krishna, Padasevanam by worshipping the lotus feet of Krishna, or by remembering Krishna, Smaranam. So there are like 9 ways like that. And it is written that one can practice even 1 way or 2 way or all 9 ways, the result will be same. But one has to practice and become expert. So you have to figure out what is it that you like the most. So Ambrish Maharaj is the personality who was engaged in all 9 ways with the utmost perfection. Okay, he used his words. So he used his mind to think of Krishna. So Smaranam. And Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam. Vandanam, prayer. So his words were describing that. Dasyam, his hands and his body was serving that. Krishna's temple or the devotees. Shravanam, so he is hearing the Krishna Katha. This is all he was doing. He was a king, but he was engaging himself with this. He was doing his kingly duties perfectly, very busy, but his heart was somewhere else. That is how we have to become. Live in this world, but not be a part of this world. Why? Because I am going to Krishna. I'm getting myself ready for that particular place. So I have to be very, very vigilant about what I'm doing. Okay, Matparaha. Matparaha we read here. Did the word come here? Yes. Matparaha means in relationship with me. Here. So that's what I was going to come. That Matparaha means whatever I'm doing, does it have a relation with Krishna or not? We can check ourselves. It's very different. I think I was telling Sita Mataji today that it is very rare for a person to come in Krishna consciousness, but it is more rare for a person to stay. Coming ho gaya, very rare, but stay is even more difficult. Staying, serving, dealing with so many devotees is even more difficult. It's very, 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 very rare. Very rare. There's so many billions of people on earth, and there are so many unlimited people in upper planetary system, so many living entities in lower planetary system, and this is one universe. Like that, there are unlimited universes, unlimited living entities. How many are coming to Krishna? Anushanam sahasreshu kaschidyati siddhaye. 1 out of billions. Senses can also be completely controlled only by the strength of devotional service to Krishna. There's no other way. Artificially, we cannot control. If there is a very beautiful girl, one of Prabhupada's American disciples, I just remember, told him, oh, did I tell this story to all of you? When Prabhupada was going to come in the Matchless Gift, the storefront in New York, and then there was this American lady who used to come to the temple in the summer of 1969, and she would be dressed up in an American way. In her office break, she would come to the temple afternoon on her afternoon walk, but she would dress up in like mini skirts and all. Did I tell this story?
Yes, Mataji, you have told us.
Not to us, Mataji.
Yes.
Not to us, Mataji.
Okay.
No, not. Okay. So there was this, my Guru Maharaj told this story. This tells what is the heart of Anacharya. So there was this lady You know, American ladies, it's so normal for them. She would come to this matchless gift storefront temple in New York, and she just would check out, and she liked it. So she used to eat with the devotees and all, but she used to dress up in an American way, the short skirts and a lot of makeup on her face, and she was very pretty. So so devotees were like, okay, they were all Americans, they knew what it is about, and they just didn't bother. But one time Prabhupada was going to come. So my Guru Maharaj said we were all very tensed that Prabhupada is going to come, and then this lady is just gonna boom enter in the afternoon as usual, and Prabhupada is a sannyasi, and Prabhupada is going to scold, and we can't even tell her don't come, right? You can't tell anyone not to come to the temple. You have opened a temple in Manhattan, in the middle of New York, and of course for New Yorkers to come, and this is what New Yorkers are. You can't say don't come. So they were all praying that I hope Krishna, please don't send her today. Krishna, please. There were posters though all over that Srila Prabhupada is going to come and he's going to give class at this time. So at that time when she comes, Prabhupada was scheduled to give a class. So my Guru Maharaj said, we were hoping she will not come. And then the temple was jam-packed with the devotees. Prabhupada was giving class. And there you go, opens a door and she walks in a usual sense. And Prabhupada's eyes were closed. And everybody's face was like, became pale. That my God, like here is this sannyasi and here is this woman not dressed up in an appropriate way. When we go in front of the sannyasi, we have to follow so many etiquettes. We have to offer them obeisances from far away. They don't even let us come. They don't let women come near them. But they're merciful, but that etiquette has to be followed. So then my Guru Maharaj says, we felt very, very nervous that what Prabhupada is going to say. Prabhupada is going to blaspheme everyone. Very well. So, but she was herself. So, and all devotees, all women, American women, they are like wrapped up in the saris. And here is this local lady coming in. So Prabhupada opened his eyes, saw her, and saw everyone else, and told her, my dear girl, you look so beautiful. Come here and sit near me. This is what Srila Prabhupada said. Okay, it's not that, or he did not say that why are you dressed up like that. He accepted so openly because he looked at the soul. She came. That was enough. She came. Right? So this is what our Acharya is. We think that Acharya is this, is that, nothing. Acharya is very accepting. If somebody comes to Krishna consciousness, we should welcome them. Welcome. We all come to Krishna consciousness with our baggage. So much baggage we come with. Slowly it gets shed off, but we come with the baggage. And so is the other person coming with the baggage. But a senior devotee will go behind the devotees and bring them back. Please don't leave. Please don't go. Okay, so the so-called yogis who are wasting their time on meditating on energy or this are just wasting their time. They're not getting anything. Na sukham, na param gatim. So this is a real aim of yoga. Real aim of yoga is, am I getting Krishna or no Krishna? Krishna or no Krishna? Don't get deviated. If there's a deviation coming, discuss it, which we will discuss in verse 3 of Nectar of Devotion. How to associate. Okay, this is very nice. Who wants to chant?
I can chant, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, go ahead.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangashteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodho bijayate.
Yes, everyone please memorize verse 62, 63. That's the 8th step, fall down. Go ahead, Mataji.
When contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. Purport. One who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desires while contemplating the objects of senses. The senses require real engagements, And if they are not engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. In the material world, everyone, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to say nothing of other demigods in the heavenly planets, is subjected to the influence of sense objects, and the only method to get out of this puzzle of material existence is to become Krishna conscious. Lord Shiva was deep in meditation, but when Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born. When Haridasa Thakur was a young devotee of the Lord, he was similarly allured by the incarnation of Maya Devi, but Haridasa easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. As illustrated in the above-mentioned verse of Sri Yamunacharya, a sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material sense enjoyments due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. That is the secret of success. One who is not, therefore, in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail, for the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his desires.
Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. It's a very powerful verse. There's 62 and 63 will describe the 8-step fall down. Why one falls down from the practice of Krishna consciousness. It starts with contemplation. Means thinking. If I have this, then I will be happy. Starts there. And from contemplation, attachments. Dhyate vishyan pumsaha. Vishya means subject. Dhyate means thinking, contemplating. Pumsaha means the thing, the person. So when we are contemplating the subject about some other person, Sangastateshu prajayate, the attachment develops. Sangasta sanjayate kama, from the attachment lust develops. Kamat krodho vijayate, because lust is never satisfied, anger develops. So if the people have anger management problem, well, there are 3 things happening before that anger comes: contemplation, attachment, and lust, which is not satisfied. 4th is anger. Even the modern psychology cannot, or psychiatry cannot understand why some people have anger management problems. They try to look for this cause or that cause. Here, Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, verse 62. Why they have anger management problem, or why we have anger management problem? Because of this. Contemplating the objects of senses, person develops attachment for them. From such attachment, lust develops. From lust, anger develops. And why are the senses contemplating the sense objects? Why are they contemplating? Because I am not giving them real engagement in Krishna consciousness. Senses means activity. Eyes means I would have an object to see. Otherwise, closed eyes, what is the meaning? But now I have to choose what I want to see. Okay, do I want to see something in this world, or do I want to see devotees or deity of Krishna? What do I want to see? That has to change. Seeing doesn't have to be stopped. The object of vision has to be changed. And that is called engagement. Okay, so the secret of success, Prabhupada talks about it so much. Why have Mayavadis fall down? Secret of success is that we need engagement. We just cannot have no engagement. Right now, the environment that we live in, unfortunately, does not give us engagement. It gives us enjoyment, so-called. Go ahead, Mataji. Who wants to read 63?
Me, Mataji.
Okay.
Sure, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Krodhat bhavati sammoha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti brahmasat buddhinaso buddhinasat pranasyati. Translation: from anger, delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. Purport: by development of Krishna consciousness, one can know that everything has its use in the service of the Lord. Those who are without knowledge of Krishna consciousness artificially try to avoid material objects, and as a result, although they desire liberation from material bondage, they do not attain to the perfect stage of renunciation. On the other hand, a person in Krishna consciousness knows how to use everything in the service of the Lord. Therefore, he does not become a victim of material consciousness. For example, for an impersonalist, the Lord or the Absolute, being impersonal, cannot eat, whereas an impersonalist tries to avoid good eatables. A devotee knows that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer and that he eats all that is offered to him in devotion. So, after offering good eatables to the Lord, the devotee takes the remnants called prasada. Thus, everything becomes spiritualized and there is no danger of a downfall. The devotee takes prasadam in Krishna consciousness, whereas the non-devotee rejects it as a material. The impersonalist, therefore, cannot enjoy life due to his artificial renunciation, and for this reason, a slight agitation of the mind pulls him down again into the pool of material existence. It is said that such a soul, even though rising up to the point of liberation, falls down again due to his not having support in devotional service. Hare
Very
Krishna.
nice. Thank you very much. So by the development of dhyayate vishanpunsa sangasya sanjayate kama krodha bijayate krodhat bhavati sammoha smriti vibhrishite buddhi nashat pranashayati krodhat bhavati sammoha matlab delusion, means a person forgets who are they, who is the other person. They get deluded about identity. And from delusion, memory becomes lost. Then they lose the memory power. Okay. And smriti, and then memory is bewildered, then intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost when one commits sinful activity. So that I'm going to show you the slide. Thank you, Sita Mataji. I saw your message. We have a very nice slide on this. I should have put it out first. Sorry. Dadhyayate Vishyan Punsaha Sangasta Sanjayate. This is an 8-step fall down process. Very nicely explained. Why the person is falling down? Where does it start from? Where does it start from? Do you remember where does it start from?
Expectations, desires, attachment.
Contemplation.
Contemplation.
Contemplation, yeah.
Okay, very nice. So contemplation. So this is an example, which if you have Bhagavad Gita hard copy, there will be a painting also like this, a painting plate. So contemplation, a girl sees a boy or a boy sees the girl, whatever, both of them, the contemplation. They contemplate, wow, she's nice, or wow, he's nice. Then attachment. Attachment means that we should try to be together. From attachment, lust develops. So lust has a very deep meaning. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhupada explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Also, it is also described in Nectar of Devotion. Lust means any activity which is done to satisfy one's own senses. And love means any activity which is done for Krishna's senses, Krishna's service. Anything. So Prabhupada explains the so-called love in this relationship is not love, but it's lust. Why? Because in a relationship between this man and woman, each one of them are actually trying to satisfy their own desires. That is why there is a next step, anger. People who did not even know each other are now angry at each other, and they're becoming harboring so ill feelings for each other. Why? Where did it come from? It came from unfulfillment of their own desires. So there is no love, there is lust. Why? Because there is no Krishna. Okay, so lust, anger develops. From anger, what happens? Krodhat bhavati sammoha, illusion develops. Or delusion develops. Sammohat smriti vibrimnaha means it from delusion, memory is lost. And when the memory is lost, smriti vibrishito buddhi nasho, intelligence is lost. And when the intelligence is lost, one commits sinful activity. So there is a delusion, and then this is, sometimes people kill each other in families. I was listening to Prabhupada 2 days ago. He said mother's love is the most pure love in this world. There's no comparison. But sometimes we see court cases between mother and children. They spend so much money. Where did this come from? Okay, so this is what I wanted to show. While contemplating the objects of senses, attachment develops. From attachment, lust develops. From lust, anger develops because lust is never satisfied. From anger, delusion develops. From delusion, bewilderment of memory develops. And bewilderment of memory leads to loss of intelligence. And loss of intelligence leads to fall down in the material pool. Okay, person does not develop love for Krishna. The aim of human life was to develop love for Krishna. And here they are. So much entanglement. Here they are. My Guru Maharaj has written a book, Forbidden Voices, from his prison preaching. So there he talks about this a lot. So why is this happening to a living entity? Because there is contemplation. Why is the mind contemplating on sense objects? Why is the mind contemplating on sense objects?
Because mind is not attached to Krishna. Because mind wants to get attached to something.
Very nice. So how will the mind get attached to Krishna? What is the secret?
By chanting.
Devotional service, Mataji.
Service. Yes. Devotional service. Do something for Krishna. Do something for him. Under the supervision of an acharya or spiritual master, do something. Okay, jnana is one thing, and so knowledge is one thing. Vijnana or application of knowledge is altogether another thing. So do something for Krishna, and it begins with tongue, chant and taste, and then after that the whole kingdom opens up. So many things are there to be done. We can go to 64th verse. Is that okay? So please memorize 62 and 63. Who wanted to chant? Nobody? Subhati Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
I was about to unmute and ask.
Yes, the next Chitra Mataji will do.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Shall I start, Mataji? Yes. Ragadvesha vimuktaistu vishayan indriyaischaran atmavashyair vidheyatma prasadam adhigachati. Translation. One who can control his senses by practicing the regulated principles of freedom can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord and thus become free from all attachment and aversion. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is already explained that one may externally control the senses by some artificial process, but unless the senses are engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord, there's every chance of a fall. Although the person in full Krishna consciousness may apparently be on the sensual plane, because of his being Krishna conscious, he has no attachment to sensual activities. The Krishna conscious person is concerned only with the satisfaction of Krishna and nothing else. Therefore, he is transcendental to all attachment. If Krishna wants, the devotee can do anything which is ordinarily undesirable. And if Krishna does not want, he shall not do that which he could or have ordinarily done for his own satisfaction. Therefore, to act or not to act is within his control because he acts only under the direction of Krishna. This consciousness is the causeless mercy of the Lord, which the devotee can achieve in spite of his being attached to the sensual platform. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. So this from 64 to 72, Krishna is going to answer the last part of the question of Sitadhir Muni. How does he walk? Okay, so how does he walk? The Krishna conscious person is completely, does not walk towards something which does not lead to Krishna. Very, very controlled. The senses, again and again, Prabhupada is saying the same thing. Its repetition is necessary because we have to register it in our memory. So unless the senses are engaged in transcendental service of the Lord, there is every chance of a fall. Even if somebody is apparently chanting Hare Krishna, yes, of course, that's a transcendental vibration, sound vibration, it will act. But then don't fall for it. You know, we have to study the person in totality. We have to look what they're doing, what is their engagement. It's not that I'm chanting Hare Krishna and then I am drinking liquor and smoking cigarette, and I'm claiming myself, or I'm claiming myself to be a very nice devotee. Those things will not go hand in hand. Not that we find fault in them, but we don't associate with them. Okay, we just leave them to the holy name and the acharyas to take care, because acharyas will take care. Now the person is calling for Krishna, so the mercy factor will act, but it's going to be the problem between the two of them, the acharyas and the person. We don't dwell on their fault, but we learn for our own self that this is not my association. Why? Because I want somebody who's more senior to me, who can take care of me, because I'm just a beginner, who can take care of my Bhakti Lata Beej. Bhakti Lata Beej. Bhakti Vinod Thakur Prabhupada describes this very nicely, that spiritual master sows a seed of bhakti in the heart of a disciple. Now the disciple has a responsibility to water the seed, to take care of the seed, to make sure that there are no weeds around the seedling that's coming out. The weeds are described as these unwanted deviations. Okay, and how do we take care of the seedling? By watering. Watering with what? Shravanam Kirtanam. Doing our rounds attentively and associating with the devotees, eating Krishna Prasadam, and thinking oneself lower, thinking oneself as a servant of the devotees. Then slowly, the seedling becomes a plant. And then slowly, he explains that plant becomes so tall that actually goes and ends at the lotus feet of Krishna. So the plant of bhakti, which started with the seed, becomes so big that it goes to the lotus feet of Krishna and we go to Krishna. That is the aim. So this consciousness is the causeless mercy. So it's a causeless mercy of the Lord, which a devotee can achieve despite of his being attached to sensual platform. It appears that a devotee of Krishna is also working. You know, they're also working. Like our Mangalore temple, we are trying to temple for the pleasure of the deities. So there's so much work involved, talking to so many people, going out, begging for the support. They're working. The devotees are working, but their work is samadhi. Why? Because they're working for Krishna. They're working like, when will this temple come up? How much have I got money? How much collection is there? Can we start the construction yet or not? So much. For this, we have to live with the devotees. I'm requesting all of you, you know, when you have next vacation, rather than going here and there, go and live with the devotees. Just go and live with them. Let's just go to a place where there is a guest house. Mangalore is always there, but across the world, Sita Mataji, you come to Gitanagari. I'll arrange your stay with your family, and just come, just live with the devotees. Gitanagari is such a nice place. We have so many cows, and the cows have names, and we worship them. And every morning, the milk that the cows give, deities drink. It's offered to the deities. Every day, Mahabhog, for afternoon, there is a paneer. That paneer is made from the milk of the cows, right there. Or the plants the vegetables are grown in the garden of Radha Damodar. So nice. So much work that they don't even sometimes have time to sleep. But so much happiness there. Such a beautiful place it is. When we go there, it is a farm community. So in the night, when I and my kids are walking in the summer, we look up the sky. There's so many stars shining in the top of the temple, because it's not city, there's no lights and all. We can see really a nice place to practice Krishna consciousness. I feel the same thing in Mangalore. You know, Mangalore, you come to the temple, then and there's so many duties, so many responsibilities. Now also when I go for 2 days, there's so much work to be done. So please try to associate with the devotees and you will feel the happiness in the heart. You'll feel happy. It's just because Krishna becomes pleased. You feel that and this is what I want to do. I don't want anything else. So this is how this starts a discussion of how one walks. Any questions? I feel like I'm talking a lot today. Any questions?
That's very clear, Mataji.
Very clear. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, just
Okay. Yes.
one doubt you were telling associate with pure devotees, no ma'am. Then how do we know who are pure devotees? Like even pure guru, we are confused. So of course
ना
there are.
प्योर नहीं बोला मैंने. Associate with the devotees बोला मैंने.
I
I'm
know.
saying associate with the devotees. Pure, the pure devotee. We are mixed devotees. We are not pure devotees because we have some other ambitions other than Krishna.
No.
But we are associating with the words of a pure devotee right now. So
Got
Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And to associate with the pure devotees, there are two ways. Srila Prabhupada explains. One is Vani and another is Vapu. So serving the pure devotee through their sound vibration, and the other is serving their body directly, rendering service to the body of a pure devotee. That's called Vapu, Vapu Seva. Prabhupada explains out of Vani Seva and Vapu Seva, Vani Seva is more important.
Okay.
So this is how we associate with the pure devotee, by reading Prabhupada's books,
Okay.
by following his order.
So what is connect to any devotees like us? Is that what you meant?
Anybody, yes, across the world. Yes. Like yesterday, we did the Bhagavad Gita chanting, right?
That's right.
So we did not put any restrictions. This person can enter, this person cannot enter. Yeah, we were actually inviting each and every person, right? Come and hear. So there's no restriction.
Got it.
So
Ma'am,
Vani and Vapu.
ISKCON does not have restriction for other religion, ma'am. But see, Tirupati is also a similar version, right, ma'am, of Krishna. But why do they restrict, ma'am? They don't allow Muslims or Christians to enter. So technically, then, if it is Krishna temples, no Krishna temple should have a restriction, no, ma'am. Not only ISKCON.
Yes, even Jagannath temple they don't allow. But Jagannath came to America and all over the world actually. Started from Los Angeles and then all over the world. I don't know, there's some, generally, person who is not a Brahmana is considered less intelligent, so unclean, because they have unclean habits. Brahmanical people are supposed to have clean habits. So I think it springs from there, but it's a misunderstanding. It should not happen.
Okay, ma'am. Got it.
It should not happen. Srila Prabhupada did not restrict.
Understood, ma'am. Just wanted to check. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, who wants to read? Chitra Mataji, are you here?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Chitra Mataji?
Yes. Yeah, am I
Okay.
audible?
Yes.
Prasade sarva dukkhanam hanir asyopajayate prasanna chetaso yasyu buddhihi paryavatishthate. Translation: For one who is so situated in the divine consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. In such a happy state, one's intelligence soon becomes steady.
Okay, Mataji, let's do the next one also, then I'll explain both together. Nashti buddhir ayukta.
Nasti buddhirayuktasya na cha yuktasya bhavana na cha bhavayata santir asantyasya katkuta sukham. Translate. One who is not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor steady intelligence. without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Purpose. Unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there is no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the 5th chapter that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, and that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna consciousness, cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal, and when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. Therefore, one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace. However much one may make a show of peace and spiritual advancement in life, Krishna consciousness is a self-manifested peaceful condition which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Mataji. So one who is so situated in divine consciousness, the threefold miseries of material existence exist no longer. So threefold we discussed, right? Adhyatmic, Adibhautik, and Adidevik. And unless until one is happy, they cannot have a fixed intelligence. So in such a happy state, one's intelligence soon becomes steady. So Nectar of Devotion describes that there are 6 things which happen when one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra. When one does service to Krishna, 6 things happen. And there are 3 stages of chanting: sadhana, bhava, and prema. So even in the sadhana stage, sadhana stage of chanting means chanting with offenses at the holy name. The 10 offenses. But someone is chanting. First thing that happens is kleshagni. Kleshagni means that person feels free from material miseries. They don't affect. Even though somebody is chanting with offenses, they still feel relief from miseries. Even though they are chanting with offenses. So nice. First thing that happens is kleshagni. That person feels happy. So this is what it is here. That is why we must immediately take up chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There is no other way. There is no other way. The Krishna just becomes pleased by someone's chanting, that at least you're chanting now. So in such a happy state, someone will be able to read the Shastras. I remember when I got the first book of Srila Prabhupada, the first book Prabhu gave me was Perfect Question, Perfect Answer. That is a conversation between a teacher, Bob Cohen, and Prabhupada. So the American teacher has gone to India on vacation, and he meets Prabhupada in one of the camps. And there's this talk between the two. I could understand most of the book because it was simple and not very hectic, not very difficult. But still, I could not understand the whole thing. Okay, next book Prabhu gave me, Science of Self-Realization. I understood nothing. Even though Science of Self-Realization is also a book about conversation between Prabhupada and so many other people from different backgrounds. But I understood nothing. I was thinking, what language is this? You know how we sometimes blabber while reading, what is this verse? What is this? Cha yuktasya bhavana. Like that I used to read. What is this? What language is this? But somehow, by Krishna's mercy, kept chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, kept chanting, because Prabhu said 16 rounds and I somehow had faith in his words. And I could understand later on the same book, which was very, very difficult. We could understand later by the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the intelligence becomes fixed. But otherwise, these things remain hidden. Our life will pass and we will not be able to understand even one word of the Shastras if we are not sincere. Krishna has to give it. It's something which is given. Okay, it's not something which I can purchase from somewhere or I can claim in the heritage. No, it is given causelessly. Who will get it? Who will get it? Again, it comes down to the question, what is the price of becoming Krishna conscious? Yes. What is the price one has to pay to become Krishna conscious? Other than Sita Mataji, because I think we discussed it today. Yes. What is the price one has to pay to become Krishna conscious? Raise your hand, unmute yourself.
Chant.
Chant, okay. Okay, chant Hare Krishna. Okay, what else?
Unconditional surrender to Lord.
Yeah, complete surrender to the Lord and doing all kinds of
Devotional
services.
service. Yeah.
Okay, okay, thank you. What else?
Offering
sincere
prasad to
devotion.
Krishna and the youth.
There are two people talking. I heard offering prasadam to Krishna.
Sincere devotion towards Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Sincere devotion towards Krishna. What else?
Interacting with the devotees.
Okay, association with the devotees. What else is the price? This is the price one has to pay to become Krishna conscious.
Reading the books of Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. What else?
You should not have desires, Mataji.
No desires at all? Become
Yes.
desireless?
We should not have desires actually. So that makes more attachment. So obviously
Means Mataji, we should become desireless? No desires? Desireless
Yes,
person?
yeah,
That's
apart from Krishna.
That's a dead body.
Leaving
What
the
is
material
dead body?
desires.
Material
Yes.
desires.
Yes.
Yeah, material desires.
Material desires.
Yes. No desires is dead body. Prabhupada explains very simply. Dead body has no desires. You can burn it, throw it, cut it. No desires. Living body has a desire. So many desires. Yes, what else? Annapurna Mataji, you are unmuted.
Yes, Mataji, I was saying that only. Leaving material desires.
Giving material desires?
Leaving material
Leaving
desires.
material desires. Acha, theek hai. Okay, thank you. So I will repeat the question one more time. What is the price one has to pay to become Krishna conscious? So I got the answers: chanting, offering prasadam, leaving material desires, associating with devotees, doing devotion service to Krishna. Anything else? Anything else? Annu Mataji?
Mataji, Hare Krishna
Leaving.
Mataji, contribution for construction of temples and doing some devotional services
Okay, thank
for
you, Mataji.
temple premises and hospitals. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Annu Mataji.
Mataji, desire to go to Vaikuntha by serving Krishna.
So devotional service. Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes, so Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada describes the cost price of Krishna consciousness. He says, does Sita Mataji want to break the silence now?
You mentioned that it is just intense greed and desire to, serve Krishna. So that's the price that we pay.
Yes, so the verse is Tatra Lolyam Ekamulyam. Rupa Goswami Prabhupada says, what is the price to become Krishna conscious? Tatra Lolyam. Lolyam, he explains, is intense greed. Not greed, intense greed. One has to become intensely greedy to become Krishna conscious. Unless and until I am not greedy enough, nothing else will matter. Nothing really matters. What really matters is not what others are doing. What really matters is, do I want to do it or not? Even if I'm left alone in the whole world, in the whole cosmic creation, I'm left alone. Do I still want to do it or not? Do I still want to chant my rounds or not? Do I still want to do this or not? So Tatra Lolyam Eka Mulyam. Greed. Intense greed is the only price. Eka Mulyam. Mulyam means price. Eka means only. Tatra means your. Lolyam means intense greed. Your intense greed is the only price that you will pay to become Krishna conscious. There is no other price. Everything else are the details. Okay, but the price is greedy. So our greed, there's a saying also, no, your attitude, one's attitude determines one's altitude. So what is my attitude? Am I greedy enough or not? Where am I putting my time? I'm again and again saying the same thing because it's important. Otherwise, Krishna can become hidden again. Krishna has been hiding. We have been putting him on the backseat for millions and millions of lives. Whether I believe it or I don't believe it, it doesn't change the fact. The fact remains the fact. Okay, but now also if I leave this chance, then again, gone. Gone. Death is around the corner. Shastras keep death in the front. Material civilization keeps death on the back, even though they are expediting the death. They're doing nothing but expediting. Today morning I was hearing Prabhupada. He was explaining Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada's song, that how Maya Vidya, the so-called educational system is nothing but a network of Maya. Why? Because it is grabbing a living entity and making it forget the real constitutional position is forgotten. This is deep. Okay, so one who is not in transcendental consciousness can have neither a controlled mind nor steady intelligence, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Prabhupada says this: the United Nations is opening so many, they're doing so many things. So many countries are participating, but because the heart is unclean, they don't come out very straightforward. One country is not very straightforward to another country. Why? Because the heart is not clean. The heart is still dirty. So there is dirt sitting there. But Krishna consciousness cleanses the heart. So Prabhupada said, I will prove to the world what United Nations could not do. And Srila Prabhupada opened Mayapur. Mayapur, you know how six Goswamis discovered Vrindavan, right? 6 Goswamis were given the duty by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go and discover Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is actually a gift from 6 Goswamis: Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Raghunath Bhatt Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. These are the 6 Goswamis. They discovered Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada discovered Mayapur. The whole Mayapur, Srila Prabhupada discovered. And go to Mayapur. You'll see people from different part of the world, different part. Every corner of the world are coming and living together to chant Hare Krishna, to worship the Panchatattva, the deities of Mayapur. It's not because the heart is cleaned. Everyone is thinking themselves the servant of another person. True, everyone comes with the baggage, but the aim is very clear. You see, the devotees are different. Even if there is some miscommunication or something, the aim is clear. The aim is very clear that I want to surrender to Krishna. So we work with each other. Real devotees work out. I have not seen real devotees leaving each other ever. Ever. Not seen. Neither has the senior devotees that you will ask, because my experience can be limited, but the senior devotees, they will also say that real serious devotees don't leave anybody. So what is the peace formula? 5th chapter 29 verse. Bhuktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Bhuktaram yagna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shanti rachiti. I am the only enjoyer, only proprietor, and I am only only friend of a living entity. One who can understand this can have a real peace. One who does not understand, no matter how much social work one is doing, no matter how much peace formula they are bringing, it will always be imperfect and incomplete. Always. It will not be able to appeal many masses of people. But Krishna consciousness is so perfect. If it is presented under the guidance of an expert acharya, it will appease everybody. Everybody appeases, gets appeased.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, it's just an alert for you. Another 12 minutes are there.
Okay.
It's late for you. It's late for you. That's also another concern.
Yes, thank you so much. I think we can do one more, 67. Who wants to chant? Annapurna Mataji, you didn't chant today. Okay, if she, who wants to chant 67th verse?
Mataji, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Indriyanam he karatam yan mano nuvidhyute tad asya harati prajyam vayurnavam tvambasi.
Vambhashi.
Tvambasi. Yambasi. Yeah. As a boat on water is swept away by a strong wind, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Unless all of the senses are engaged in the service of Lord, even one of them engaged in the sense gratification can deviate the devotee from the path of transcendental advancement. As mentioned in the life of Maharaja Ambarisha, all of the senses must be engaged in Krishna consciousness, for that is the correct technique for controlling the mind.
Very nice. Thank you. So another alert by Krishna that even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. The one, okay, let me, eyes want to say, okay, let's watch something else other than Krishna. Let's try. A person can watch, but later they realize, I wasted my time. I really wasted my time. I shouldn't have done it. Right? So why? Because we get deviated from the goal. People think that Krishna consciousness is dry, and they think that material world has variety, because variety is the mother of enjoyment. So somehow the concept going on across the world is spirituality is dry. There are no colors, there is no variety, and material life is so much full of colors. See, so many different people, so many different activities, so many places to visit, so many things to taste, so much variety. What is there in Krishna consciousness? You guys say chant Hare Krishna, one mantra only. How much can a person do? And that to 16 rounds. Where is the 16 rounds coming from? These things come up, right? How do you answer this? Variety is the mother of enjoyment, and Krishna consciousness has no taste because there is no variety. Material life is full of variety because I can see it. Right or wrong? And if right, why? And if wrong, why?
Mataji, we could be doing anything, singing, dancing, or there is art or anything, but we could bring Krishna into it. You can sing Krishna songs, or you can dance. You pick your song and pick your dance, and we could. What we want to paint is up to us. So we could still. There is so much enjoyment in doing that also.
Very
So
nice. So
because like if you see in practical examples also, there are moms who make their children dance to all kind of Bollywood songs and stuff, but they could pick, if they want, they can choose Krishna songs, and we could bring Krishna into everything that we are doing. So that way we are really enjoying Krishna consciousness. It's not a, there's no dull moment at all. There's so much fun in what Krishna does.
Thank you. Yes, very nice. Yes, who else? Yes, Sita Mataji.
So I was listening to one of the classes, and I forget which one because I don't recollect, but I think in one of the classes, Navana Vishnu Prabhu was giving an example of a situation where they were talking about, a scenario where a dad who was coming to this initiation of his only son, and the speaker, he was very angry with the speaker because his only son was taking a sannyas, was becoming a sannyasi after reading Bhagavatam or something like that. And he started just blasting, saying, you guys are brainwashing my child and all that stuff. And at the end, the speaker very kindly listened, and he said, well, do you have a scenario where you have enjoyed something and that enjoyment keeps increasing? And he said, no. And then he questions, would you like to have that? And he says, yes. And he's asking, why do you want that? Something that you have not had, why do you want that? So the person starts thinking, and then the speaker says, well, we are looking for that kind of enjoyment, which just keeps increasing and increasing, because we've had that. We are the soul, we are part and parcel of Krishna. We have seen that happiness. And now, since we are separated from Krishna, we are looking for that enjoyment in different places. We look for the highest phone that's out there to try and see if that will cause us. But what we don't tend to realize is it's not the phone that is cause of the happiness. It is the conversation that happens on the phone that can cause us happiness. So we are all looking for that enjoyment because we've had it. We just don't know where to find it. So chanting Hare Krishna, I think, even though it is one mantra, you don't tend to get bored, if I may say so. I'm not perfect. I'm only up to 10 rounds. But again, it's something that you get used to, and you're seeing the positive effects for everybody who's chanting.
So nice, no? Supporting her argument with references. So nice. Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely explained. Sailesh Kumar Prabhu, would you like to shed some light? Annapurna Mataji, you are unmuted. Mataji, you are with me since when? Since June? Annapurna Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Aren't you bored of me?
No, not at all, Mataji. Not at all.
Well, you don't have to say that because I'm your friend. You don't have to.
No. Really, I'm not bored. Otherwise, I would not be regular.
But we are talking about the same thing. Again and again, we meet same thing. Since June, July, August, September, October, November, 8 months, Mataji. Hello, how many months? 6 months?
Yes.
June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 7 months. 7 महीने हो गए.
Yes, Mataji.
Why not?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, to this, I would say now, after hearing so much, it is not, I personally feel we like to associate with you because you are a devotee. Simple as that. It is not you. It is you talking about Krishna, so we are attracted to you. And that's what now, now the feelings are, initially it was different, but with me now it is, after hearing so much about Prabhupada, hearing his lectures, listening to you, listening to Nishtha, this is giving us happiness more than anything else, I think.
And like we are engaged
It's
in the
so true,
service
Mataji.
of
Like
Krishna.
17 years, and you've been doing this for 17 years. And so, you have so much to share with us. And you're like real, you're a real devotee. So that's what
That
makes
he also
us
keep
so
us engaged in the service of Krishna in some or the other form.
Yes, that is more like it. You keep us engaged. You
Like
keep
yesterday
keeping
when I was
classes.
cooking, I was thinking that you were telling that you have to make different types of prasadams and all. So a morning I got up and I did all for Krishna today.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's so much satisfaction. So thank you for my glorification. But my intention behind the question was that that when we sit with each other, we really are not talking about anything that's not related to Krishna. In fact, with the girls, I'm reading Bhagavatam, which is the highest transcendental literature, right? We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. The Queen Kunti's prayers is Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 8th chapter. So why are we not getting bored? Just think about it. And if you have to watch the same movie like month after month after month, same movie, how much boring it will become. But by Krishna consciousness is not becoming bored, because Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, the happiness keeps on increasing, because it is not a thing of this world. The thing of this world will be boring. Relationship becomes boring, job becomes boring. The things that we have, looking at them, same thing again. We need change. That's why we go on vacations. We want to change our position, forget about stuff for some time, go refresh the mind, look at different things. But in Krishna consciousness, no vacation. This was my realization many years ago when I was in Mangalore, that how much I used to wait for Sunday to come so I don't have to go to college and I can sleep extra, right? But Krishna consciousness, no vacation. After I started chanting Hare Krishna every morning, 4 o'clock, I'm getting up. I was like, wow, I'm amazed. So you feel it in yourself that how can I do the same thing? Rashmi Rajesh Mataji, are you here? She's here, right? Mataji, you're here? Rashmi Rajesh Mataji. So Shiza, Mataji, can you unmute? Shiza?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, Mataji, tell me your experience because
Yes,
I know
sir.
you're a math teacher. You're chanting 16 rounds. The time that you used to get up and practice your mathematics, you're giving it to Krishna. How is it going? Are you bored? Be honest.
Yes. Yes. No, Mataji. So my vacations are going on still. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock and I'm chanting. I'm making sure that by 6 o'clock I'm finishing my chanting. This become a relishing thing for me to do every day.
So, what do you feel? What is the feeling? Do you feel tired? Do you feel bored? Your voice is cracking. Mataji, your voice is cracking up. Mataji, please check your audio settings and come back. Dharneshwari Mataji.
Happy. No, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I get up early in the morning, 4 o'clock every day.
Very nice. Thank you. So, Dharneshwari Mataji, you're also with me since June, right?
Yes, Mataji.
How come you're gluing? How come you're staying with me? Like, we never met. We don't even know if we will ever meet in person. I hope we do.
Yes.
But I don't think it really matters. But how come you're chanting 16 rounds and you bought Srimad Bhagavatam and I told you please read and you're reading?
Yes,
And you're
Mataji.
such a nice devotee. What's happening? What are you feeling? Aren't you bored of your practice?
No, Mataji. This only gives me more energy, I should tell actually, to balance in my life. So I'm getting more balanced and more energetic. So that's why I'm also associated, Mataji. So every day, if we have a call, also we will be having only this energy will grow actually. That's what I feel. So morning, I also chant like Rashmi Mataji told. I used to get up around 4:30, so that I should finish by 7 before like that, because after making arrangements in the puja room and all. So it's very nice. The whole day I'm able to make it in a very good way, Mataji. So this chanting, really, I should say thanks to you and ISKCON for giving such a guidance to everyone in this world, whoever is getting the opportunity. So from my heart and soul, everything is totally dedicated to this only, Mataji. So that's what I feel. So I'm very much energized. So daily listening these things and all of that, this is totally in the devotional thing. I'm very much happy, Mataji.
Thank you. So thank you, Mataji, for your sincere feedback. So there's happiness in the heart. And there's so much happiness stored in the heart, and the key to open that happiness is chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Anyone who's chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra feels the same effect across the world. You come to America, I'll take you to so many devotees who are local, ask them. Or you go and preach to someone, chant Hare Krishna, and then see, or you first do this. Chant Hare Krishna, because Prabhupada has given it. Okay, so we can meet next week, same time, and I will announce the next project next week, whoever wants to participate. It will be on tolerance. We will finish the next 5 verses. Today we finished what are the symptoms, how does he speak, how does he sit, and we're in the middle of studying how does he walk. So speech is very important. The mind has to be undisturbed for a person to be able to have a Vani which is pleasing, which is truthful, and which spiritually uplifts the other person. A disturbed mind cannot talk anything to do with anybody's well-wishing. Okay, and then 56, 57 is Krishna explains speech. 55 explains the symptoms. And 58 to 63 explains the sitting, like the turtle, how the turtle is able to grab all the senses and withdraw it in itself. Like that, a person whose consciousness is merged in transcendence is able to direct their senses. They tell the eyes, go see this scene, now come back inside. Be situated in the samadhi. Now tongue, eat this, now done, come back. This is how they do. This is how, look at Prabhupada's videos and you just study him. There's one devotee in Mangalore. I don't think you'll ever be able to see him. Vrindavan Das Prabhu. He's very, very exalted, very exalted. He doesn't come out anymore. He's very exalted. And when I went to Mangalore 2 years ago, Prabhu showed me Vrindavan Prabhu's notes. Vrindavan Prabhu used to take our classes when I was there. Now he stopped. He's completely immersed in. So when you see these devotees, you get the idea of what is written here. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to see. On Ramanuja Prabhu itself, you go study their life. They don't have one bed in the whole of ashram. They all sleep on the floor. I don't know who I was telling that to, but they all sleep on the floor. They all.
Last class, you told here only, Mataji.
Okay, here only. Okay. No possessions, but they are worshipping the deities. The deity standards worshipping are very high. They are preaching the whole world. Personally, they are living like a monk. They are a monk. Okay, so a person who is able to withdraw the senses like a turtle withdraws everything. And one has to become fixed in consciousness, not by repressing, but by regulating the senses and by developing a higher taste. So, Parandishtvani Vardate. And this is where we started from, 61, right? That the senses one can restrain, but if he doesn't fix the mind on Krishna, the object of meditation has to be changed. And if it doesn't become Krishna in this lifetime, that person is not of the steady intelligence. No matter how nicely they dress up, no matter how nicely they talk, no matter how nicely they're clean they are, if there is no Krishna, that person is not of steady intelligence. I don't belong there. Okay, and then we went on contemplating the object. So I explained the 8-step fall down. Why one person falls down starts with contemplation. So mind has to contemplate, but don't contemplate something for senses. I contemplate 24 hours a day. How can I serve Krishna more? How can I serve Krishna? How can? Okay, and this is very important. I'm sorry I forgot to highlight, but free from all attachment and aversion. Aversion, free from being an aversion is easy to understand. But Krishna says free from all attachment also, because attachment is also a stumbling block. Okay, and I guess we studied till 66. Please go back and read till what we did today and try to connect with your own life where we are. Okay. Chitra Mataji, please feel free to leave. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Any questions, anyone?
Ma'am, can you run me through 2.55 because I'm not able to really follow that, the symptoms. I've read it too, but still it's not getting my head.
Yes, and anyone who has to leave, please feel free to leave. Just say Hare Krishna before you leave.
Mataji, just a reminder, you were talking about Pandav Sena. I just wanted to bring that up again. I don't know if you wanted.
I think in this class, Pandav Sena is only you and Shashi Prasad Prabhu and Radhika Mataji, right? Radhika?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I was thinking, can we have meeting on December 30th instead of Jan 3rd? Let me know, 3 of you.
December 30th, what day, ma'am?
Wednesday.
That's fine, ma'am.
Okay. But Shashi Prasad Prabhu, let me know. Okay, so Sthita Pragnas Tadochete, the symptom of a person. Symptom is something which they display. The person who is Krishna conscious is not going to be running here and there to satisfy their desires. Why? Because they're able to give up all varieties of sense desire which arise from mental concoction, and his mind finds satisfaction in the self alone. Then he is said to be in pure transcendental consciousness. What you did not understand, Radhika? Do you want to tell me?
That only I don't understand, ma'am. That line which says self alone. Self means myself, right? Or am I understanding it wrongly?
Self, what is the word used for the self? Partha, pure state. in pure state of the soul, Atmani. Yeah, this was the word. So Atmani, the word Atma has many meanings. Okay, 8th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains some, and even 13th chapter he explains. Atma means soul. Atma also means mind. Atma also means super soul. So there are different meanings of the word Atma. So when the self alone means that one is very happy with the connection of the soul with the super soul.
Oh, got it, ma'am. I think now I got it. So that's why I was confused. Like, it's like false ego is what I could relate that self alone meaning.
The other, you have to go and look what meaning, what word is used. Atmani, in the pure state of the soul.
Understood. So
The
what?
pure state of the soul belongs to Krishna. That is the pure state of the soul. So one who's realized.
Perfect, ma'am. Got it, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We were still not.
Yes, Mataji. I'm okay for Wednesday 30th.
Okay. Thank you.
Mataji, just a reminder though, I forgot, you have Bhagavad Gita class, Nectar of Devotion. So what time are you thinking? I think both of those are there, right? Govindas might be there on the 30th too.
Yeah, 7 to 8 p.m. 7 to 8:30 p.m. is Govinda. Nectar of Instruction. Mataji, you can stop recording. Sita Mataji, please.